Hi, everybody. I got thinking the other day. Okay, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Wendy. This is on my regular page, so obviously a lot of you guys already know me. Maybe a lot of you don't realize that I am a yoga teacher, and well, I don't practice it anymore, but I've also studied pretty extensively in yoga psychology, yoga psyche soul kind of stuff, the chakras, and just the philosophies of yoga, specifically um, from a very esoteric kind of situation. I did this basically for myself, not so much for an opportunity to push or offer that to other people, but I'm seeing that it is kind of something that is kind of not only just for me. When I did my own research and my own education on different things, it really did provide me an opportunity to fill my tool belt with a lot of strategies to work through all the stuff that I have had to go through. Um, it's weird because my kids, unfortunately, they suffer from different forms of anxiety and other mental issues that have been brought on by, whatever has been going on in their lives. And it wasn't until I really was kind of trying to help them through their own situations that I realized and actually put a name to my own issues. For years and years, I've had the same kind of panic attacks and anxiety and um, all these different things that I never really put a name to before. And I never really acknowledged it as and that kind of issue. It was always um, just not feeling myself and not feeling that I was able to just stuff that I never really exactly, like I said, I never really put a label on, and I never really thought of it much more as an actual issue as opposed to I was just crazy. and and I got over it and I went to work and I had children and I had a life and I did this and I did that and everything else. And I never really, like, I stopped long enough to actually think that um, to give myself enough self-care to actually acknowledge what was going on mentally in my life. I had gone through a lot of really terrible things, and I sucked it up and I moved on because I had no other option or opportunity at that time to do that kind of stuff. But along the way, uh, I incorporated a lot of techniques for myself that really allowed me to carry on and continue in life without even realizing what I was doing situation. It was kind of like I kind of just went right into survival mode and I did the things that I had to do. I went and grounded. I actually would go and garden. Gardening became very much a very big addiction for me because I used it as almost a therapy. And I kind of joked about it at the time, which I didn't even realize that I was doing. But gardening was very therapeutic for me to be able to just to sit quietly with my hands in the dirt and you know, did a lot of talking to God and different things at that time when I was in that frame of space. And and this was all before phones and headphones and different things when you can really shut out the world. But that was my space to be able to sit and think and just escape from the world and escape from stuff that was going on in my life that was not necessarily that good. So anyways, the live that I did the other day really got me thinking about, and because of the response of it, a lot of people reached out to me with regards to that was a really cool technique, the 5 4 3 2 1 rule. And it got me thinking that, I'm not the only one that's going through this kind of stuff. And maybe some people don't have the ability to naturally incorporate techniques to self-soothe or de-escalate or bring them into a position where they're feeling more like themselves. So I did some more research and I did a little bit more diving into my tool belt that I've accumulated over the years too. I mean, I did a lot of research, but I also did a lot of courses and I did a lot of education with regards to breathing techniques, pranayama within the yoga world, and how it works technically and scientifically with the brain and the nervous system, and all these different things that is really extremely prevalent to a lot of people right now because we live in a society that is extremely chaotic and extremely stress inducing. And a lot of people don't have the ability to uh, be able to de-escalate on their own, and they don't know what to do. And they sit in that heightened stress state all the time. Like that's where their lives are for like, and it can go on for years. And from a nutritionist perspective, this can be very much the breeding ground for disease process. And when we live in that heightened state of stress at all times, our body will begin to deteriorate and allow for major stuff to come in. So just coming right back down to the beginning things of learning how to breathe and bringing in these different tools that can really help you. So today I wanted to talk to you about, I did some research, and again, these are simple things that I kind of already have implemented into my, not simple things, but maybe things that maybe you might not have thought of specifically, but things that I've kind of already done without even really thinking too much about it. And one of the things is a really healthy morning routine, and something that can be make or break the rest of your day. Now, again, this is something that innately I've kind of done on my own just because it felt good. I like to get up, like when I was going on working on day shift, you'd have to get pretty early in the morning, but I would always get up that much earlier in the morning. So I wasn't rushing all over the place and being in that big stress state. I always like to sit and have my coffee. Now, coffee probably not the best thing for me right now because it really just shoots my hot flashes through the roof, but it really, I figure, well, I'll have a couple of hot flashes because I'm not giving up my coffee right now. But I mean, it is part of that routine of that quiet time in the morning. I like to sit and maybe go through the flyers and talk quietly with my husband and have a really stress-free kind of morning. But there is method to my madness, and I did some research on it. And there is a lot of people that actually wake up in the morning with what's called morning anxiety. So if you're one of these people, like I said, I've got a few tips for you because it is actually a real thing. And it is not just you. You're not crazy. I'm telling you right now. There's a hormone in our body called cortisol. And if you've never heard of cortisol, I know most people have. You've probably been living under a rock, but cortisol is that stress response hormone in our body. And it actually is innately designed to get us up in the morning first thing and get us going. Now, um, it, the circadian rhythm of the body or of us basically runs on like a 24-hour clock or thereabouts, and it is designed to really keep us going. So the circadian rhythm actually induces the cortisol to be released first thing in the morning, which really primes us for action, to get going, to get up, to um, you know bring us from that really that deep sleep of, that really relaxed mode to, action mode. And that's what cortisol basically was really designed to do. But sometimes, especially if we have a lot of other stresses going on in our lives, and there's a lot of chaos and whatnot, this can actually make that a lot worse. So cortisol actually spikes up, and and people that are living in heightened stressful states can really make us, which is everybody, it can really make it a lot worse. So a lot of us actually do suffer from what's called morning anxiety. And like I said, it can be really powerful if you really start to implement some strategies that can help you, um, and a routine in the morning that can help you keep that anxiety down, and keep, you're still going to have this heightened cortisol levels in the morning because that's just what happens in our bodies. But it can really, you can take that and really bring it to your benefit. So like I said, really planning a different things that you can do in the morning can be very, very helpful. So before you even get out of bed, being awake in bed, and you know that cortisol is starting to really, rev up everything else, but it also revs up our brain, and you're already starting to think a lot of things. So really take a step back before you even get out of bed and examine what's going on in your brain, and examine the thoughts, and really see what's going on. Um, are they negative thoughts? Are they, you're already dreading the things that are going to be going on during the day. You're already kind of planning and seeing what's going on in the day, and you're worried about how your kid's going to get to school, or how we're going to pay the bills, or your spouse's irritable behaviors, or the boss is going to yell at you at work, or you're already ramping up and expecting the total worst. So really step back and examine what's going on in your head, and try to shift that a little bit, and try to, for every negative thought that comes up, try to bring in some sort of gratitude. Um, let's see here. I'm just kind of reading off of the research that I had done, and just bringing in, like I said, some positive thoughts. You don't even have to go towards the gratitude situation, but just try to bring in some positive thoughts for every negative thought. Uh, you have a ton of work to do at in the office, and you know that you're gonna be yelled at by this cranky employee, or your boss, or something like that. But try to maybe take a step back and look at it and say, well, it's kind of good that you have a job. It's kind of good that you're making money. It's kind of good that you have that opportunity to do that. And just try to find some positivity in whatever negative thoughts that are always coming up all the time. And that again is one of those techniques that can really help with allowing some different thought patterns to emerge, as opposed to always going towards the negative all the time. Another thing that you can do first thing in the morning is really just don't even think about it. Just get up, get yourself some water right away, get into that routine of, get in hydrating yourself. Instead of sitting there and stewing in those negativity thoughts, or or building of anxiety, and just, you know, even just methodically, just get up, go to the bathroom, get your glass of water, squeeze some lemon right away, even before you have your coffee, and hydrate your system, and boost your immune system, and maybe stretch a little bit. That's another routine that you can get into, is incorporating some stretching, touching your toes a little bit, raising your hands over your head, and just moving that body, waking it up very, very slowly, as opposed to pulling the covers up over your head, and just like, oh, you don't want to see the world. You don't. And I mean, we've all done it. It's something that I know I've done, and you just don't want to get out of bed. But if this is the habit that you get into, then it will continue. So breaking that habit, and like I said, just pushing the covers aside, getting up and changing that routine, changing the flow of energy throughout your system. Um, And I mean, if you're called, you can do a little bit of meditation. There's lots of free meditations, but even just sitting quietly, it's not like you have to sit in lotus and, for 20 minutes and om the whole way through it. All you have to do is, maybe take a few really deep breaths, and that's as good as meditation as well. And it is a form of meditation. It is a form of allowing some cleansing and some quietness to envelop you. And you can do that for 10 minutes if you want, or you can do it for 2 minutes. It is entirely up to where you are and whatever helps. If you find that, 2 minutes of that sitting and breathing really helps, extend it out to, 10 minutes if you want. Some people like to exercise in the morning. I'm not one of those people. But I mean, you can do 15 minutes of just some gentle exercises, some, um, a couple of sun salutations, if that's something that you're called to do. If people want to do push-ups or sit-ups, that's your thing. Definitely you can do it. I mean, because it really does energize the body, and it shifts that flow away from always diving into that anxiety and the negativity and the things that are just going to heighten you up to this point that you're going to end up staying there all day long. So really just shifting that body and, you know, getting the blood pumping and flowing and just cleansing out throughout your body. And even exercise will actually allow for lymphatic shift and movement in your body. So it'll actually help with, the morning constitution, perhaps going to the bathroom. It'll help with releasing of toxins in your body that have accumulated because we've just been sitting still most of the night. And again, physical and emotional toxins that can be released by movement is always an amazing thing. And why not? I mean, if what you've been doing in the past isn't working, then why not try something else? And that's basically what I wanted to just throw out there to you is whatever is happening that isn't working in your life, why not try something new? Um, it's not going to hurt you by any means. And when you try and you see a new way of doing things and you try it out and you say, shit, this is easy. Why didn't I do this before? It's an amazing tool to be able to bring into your life. So like I said, I'm the type of person, I wouldn't call myself a morning person, but I do love my mornings when I do get up and be very, very quiet. I love quiet in the morning. Some people, the rush, rush, rush. And I mean, I did that when my kids were little, and I did that when I was working, full-time day shift. And um, I really do savor those quiet moments in the morning with, even by myself, sitting, listening to some quiet music, put the dogs out for their morning constitution, come in and get some cuddles from the cat, feed everybody, and sit down with a coffee and just, either think about what's coming very slowly throughout my day. If I know that I'm going to have some sort of stress inducing kind of situations that I just sort of, again, try to find some good things to think around how I'm going to be able to handle it. Try to go towards the gratitude situation of, thankful that I have a job, thankful that I have a car to be able to go to my work, thankful that I'm able to put the gas in my car to get to my work. All these different things that, sometimes we forget, and we just dive right in and we spiral down and we spiral and we spiral and we get to a place that is hard to get out of. And I don't want that for you guys, because I've been there and I know it's hard. So be safe and be well. And I'm going to try to continue doing a few of these over the next little while, and we'll see what happens. I'll take care.